Starting this year, I was super energetic and excited to finally begin my podcasting journey. I had the titles, the topics, and a vision I was proud of. As I got into the actual process, it really hit me. This is a lot of work. Between creating the concepts, the titles, and the thumbnails, there was a mountain of work to do before I even sat down to record a single episode. I was so desperate that I did what everyone does. I turned to the internet for answers. What I found were hundreds of videos telling me that my real problem was a simple lack of discipline. So I went down the rabbit hole. And after watching several hours of content, I noticed everyone was essentially saying the same three things. But they were saying them in a way that really felt like a chore. Today, I want to break down the three universal laws of productivity that I found hidden beneath all the noise. And more importantly, how I'm using them to build my podcast without losing my sense of peace. Law number one, the tool versus the savior. We've all seen the videos. They promise that if you just find the right app and the perfect notebook or the most aesthetic calendar, that your life will instantly become transformed. And in all actuality, it's a beautiful myth. I bought the notebook, I paid for the app, but when the notification popped up to finally start my recording session, I didn't feel inspired. I felt pressured. So I hit the snooze. I filled pages with beautiful lists, only to push the notebook aside when it was actually time to execute. I had the systems for success, but I didn't have the commitment to the work. I realized that no system can act for you. I had to stop looking for a better app and start looking deeper at my goals. And once I reestablished the why behind this podcast, why I started, my why for wanting to begin, the system became a tool and not a savior. Law number two, the sacred boundary. Every podcast talks about scheduling time, blocking time, reorganizing time, reflecting upon where you place your time. The truth is, making time for work is actually the easy part. Sitting down for it is another. Because I felt like I was running from the work, I had to stop seeing my schedule as a cage and start seeing it as a boundary that protects my time. I wanted the identity of being a podcaster, but my calendar really didn't reflect that desire. Now I have dedicated content days with specific goals. But the biggest shift wasn't just starting, it was knowing where there was an end to the time. Having that finish line gave me the mental space to dive in. I treat this time as sacred, but I also live in reality. Some days my mood or my hormones mean the energy just isn't there. I've learned to give myself the grace to move or limit that time without beating myself up. A flexible mindset is what actually keeps me consistent. On the days when sitting down feels impossible, I set a 20-minute timer, just 20 minutes. And if I can make it through that, I add another 20. If I can't, I've trusted I moved the needle just enough and I can try again at a later date or a later time or later in the evening or the next day. While scheduling my time was important, the biggest takeaway for me was realizing that I had to protect my physical space. I realized that my environment was either fueling my focus or draining it. And to really create, I had to minimize the stimulus around me. My environment was really impacting the way in which I was even beginning to execute a task. That meant that the space had to be clean, no clutter, and nothing could really pull my attention away. So it meant my phone had to be put away, completely out of sight. And by removing those micro distractions, I stopped fighting my environment and started letting it support me. When my space is clear, my mind follows. But here's the truth that no one tells you. Once you put your phone away and you clean your desk, it's going to get really quiet. Maybe even a little uncomfortable. I realized that a lot of my quote unquote lack of discipline was actually just an inability to be bored. We are so used to constant stimulation that the moment a task feels repetitive or slow, our brains panic and look for an escape. I had to learn that boredom isn't a sign that something is wrong. It's actually the doorway to deep work. When I feel that itch to check for my phone or walk away, I tell myself, it's okay to be bored right now. This is where the podcast is actually made. It's in those quiet, boring moments that the best ideas finally have room to breathe. Law number 3, mindset as the primary tool. We've all heard the advice to just do it, to go hard and push through the resistance. We've all heard that advice where it tells you to just keep pushing through the resistance, just hustle hard. And while that hustle theme works for some, I really found that it's the quickest path to burnout. I'm choosing to move slowly towards my goals, learning as I go. Slow progress is better than no progress at all. I realized that my primary tool for creating isn't my camera or my microphone, it's my mindset. If I allow that tool to become overworked and overstimulated, it will naturally begin to hesitate. It starts to refuse the work because it knows how much energy podcasting actually requires. By choosing to go slow, I'm actually able to enjoy the process. You can't share a message of wellness if you aren't practicing it yourself. And the final realization I found across all those hours of content is that productivity is ultimately about identity. For a long time, I thought my problem was that I couldn't stick to my schedule. But the truth was, I was afraid of the person I was becoming. I was comfortable in the starting and stopping cycle because it meant that I never had to actually put myself out there. I realized to finally launch this podcast, I didn't need a better timer, a better notebook, a better system to plan. I needed to give myself permission to be a creator. I had to step out of the identity of someone who just has ideas and into the identity of someone who shares them. Now, every time I sit down for those 20 minutes, I'm not just checking off a task. I'm proving to myself that I am the person I said I wanted to be. Productivity isn't about doing the most, it's about protecting your peace so you can do what matters. If you've been waiting for the quote unquote perfect system to start, let this be your permission to just begin exactly as you are. I know this was a really short episode, but these are the 3 themes that I found were really important. And if you found that any of these resonated with you, hit the like button, share this with a friend, and I hope to see you in the next one, familia, where we become perfectly imperfect individuals together. Nos vemos.